Hello guys and welcome to my new video. I can't keep this deck list any longer from you. They'll control yellow, blue, and it's probably the last chance you can play this deck in Wild's unknown meta and set championships. Before we dive into the deck profile, don't forget to subscribe for more Lorcana videos. We are close to 1000 subscribers, so help me out here guys. And now have fun, let's go. So guys, yellow, blue control, let's have a look at the list. Right now, for me personally, this is the best control deck you can play, the most fun. And the most versatile you can play. You can reset the board multiple times during a game. And the game plan basically is like find your turn to ramp on turn 4, get your big bodies out and start controlling the board. And get your lures and finish it with the locations, with your big bodies out there. Quest here and there. And just keep your opponent's board in check. Let's go through all my card choices real quick. If you want to copy the list you see, you will find a link in the video description below. And there is one card which is a flex spot, but I will get to it in a second. In the one drop slot, we only have Develop Your Brain. Sometimes, even if you mulligan 6 or 7, you don't find your turn to ramp. Develop Your Brain gives you the turn 1 ability to look at the top 2 cards and find this ramp you desperately need. Because without the turn to ramp, it gets hard to get into the game, but we have options. I had multiple games missing turn to ramp and getting back into the game later. It's possible, but it's harder. And yeah, turn 2, we want to play either Tipo or Sail the Azurite. See, our beloved turn 2 ramp. We will really miss when they're gone after the next rotation. And so look for those 2 cards in your starting hand after your mulligan. It's very important. And later in the game or even early in the game, Vision of the Future, 4 copies of Vision of the Future. You can look at the top 5 cards, dig through your deck, filter, and pick the card you really need. Sometimes you need ink, sometimes you need removal, and Vision of the Future gives you the opportunity to go deep into your deck and really get the card you need in the situation you're currently in. Get those cards out of the way. With 3 ink, we usually don't have a 3 ink play, but sometimes we need it and we have options. For example, we have Ohana means family, some kind of a draw engine or like a secondary draw engine, a 3-cost inkable action, and you can choose a character of yours, remove every damage from this character and draw 1 card per damage removed. This is huge because we have so many characters in this build with 4 or even more willpower. They can hold a lot of damage, and sometimes your opponent, they run straight into the Ohana trap. They exert with one of their characters with like 3 or 4 strength. You run into them as well, heal your character, draw a bunch of cards, and you have so much card advantage later in the game, which is huge. Early in the game, usually it's ink for me, so you have an easy ink choice, only 3 copies of Ohana. And you might ask yourself, how does this deck deal with evasives? Here we go. 3 copies of the Horseman Strikes Back. Sometimes on turn 3, on turn 4, you don't want to drop a body. He already has a Genie established, a Dumbo established, an Elsa, whatever. You need this card to be removed immediately so he doesn't get more value out of Dumbo or Genie. And so you can banish an invasive character and you can draw a card. And also something I noticed earlier, or like in some of my games, Miss Incredible is a card. It's very hard to deal with, but they usually choose the evasive option and then you can just banish her. And this is huge also. This is huge. And you draw a card, so it replaces itself. And then also for 3 ink, just a one-off, but this card has been gold to me. The Black Cauldron. It's a 3-cost uninkable item. And it has 2 options. You can pay 1, exert the card, and you can put 1 character card from your discard face up under this item. And the next turn you can pay 1, exert, and then you can play all the characters from underneath the Black Cauldron, like if you have it in your hand. And this is amazing because once per turn you can put 1 card under the Black Cauldron, but if you have the ink available, you can play all the cards from the Black Cauldron if you chose the second option here. And sometimes it's enough in longer games to put a Hades under your Black Cauldron to like threaten playing a Hades, and so your opponent like sometimes he doesn't even play a character because he knows, okay, you will remove it anyway next turn. It doesn't make any sense to play something. And like, you force your opponent to make like bad decisions, bad moves and stuff. And the black card one has been really good against other control decks, not having item removal. Against blue-green it can be tricky sometimes because they have the small Clarabelle, but against purple it's fine. And against mirror games also, this card win you the games. So this is it for the 3-drop slot. Get those cards out of the way. In the 4-drop slot, of course, we have Cinderella. Still don't own a card for my gameplay. On Tuesday in my local game store, I had to borrow 4 copies of her. She's our turn 3 ramp. You play her, and when you play a princess, we have some princesses in the deck. You can, at the end of your turn, ink a card from your hand and draw another one, so you can go up to 6 ink in turn 4 already, which is huge actually. Against some faster decks, you need to get your big bodies or your big removal cards out fast and quick, and Cinderella helps you getting there earlier. And the card everyone is talking about, let's get the English one up top. It's Dale. It's Dale. It's a 4-cost inkable card. It's 0 strength, 4 willpower. He quests for 2, and during challenges your characters deal damage with their willpower instead of their strength. And we have some cards in the deck which naturally like boost up or get boosted up with the Dale. We have the Blue Hades. Cinderella, for example, she doesn't hit for 2, she hits for 3 when you play Dale the follow-up turn. So she can take out something like with 3 health. We have Surfer Stitch in the mix. He can hit for 8. And like Dale gives us the opportunity to take out strong characters, and sometimes, that's what I was talking about with Ohana, your opponent runs into this like Ohana Dale trap because they think, okay, they don't have enough willpower, they don't have enough strength, they can't take out my card. Then you drop a Dale from out of nowhere or whatever, and suddenly you take out the opposing character, and then you play follow-up with an Ohana Means Family, draw a bunch of cards, which is huge and saved me a lot of games. And talking about saving games, this card has been huge for me. Casa Madrigal. 4-cost inkable location, 7 willpower. It's not a McDuck Manor, but it's getting there, and it's huge, and it's hard to deal 7 damage for some decks. It quests for 2 every start of your turn, and every time one of your characters quests there, you can heal this character for 2, and also can heal the location for 2. So you can basically let your opponent deal some damage, move a character there, quest, and heal the location again. And what Casa Madrigal does, it forces your opponent to exert, to challenge into this card. So you can challenge back, or your characters stay safe, they can quest. And sometimes against some decks you really want to have Casa Madrigal instead of Cinderella in turn 3 or with your 4 ink play, because I figured, okay, if they can take it out in 1 or 2 turns, you get 6 lore out of this location. And some decks, they really can't deal with this location, or they don't want to exert, because then they like make their characters vulnerable for challenging. And I figured if purple misses their 1-drop, they go sail into ramp, you just drop a Casa Madrigal, because they have like 2 or 3 turns until they can take it out. And it gets a bunch of lore. And later in the game, when you wipe the board with a Raging Storm, dropping a Casa Madrigal or 2 Casa Madrigals is usually the game winner. So this is it for the 4-cost characters or cards. Moving up to the 5-cost cards. We have Pete as one of our card draw engines. I already talked about it in other deck profile videos. It's the 5/5 body, quest for 1. You can boost it with 1 ink. And for each card under Pete, you can look at the top cards of your deck and put 1 into your hand. So you can also filter through your deck. You can get those cards in hand you really need. And usually it's my follow-up play after a Cinderella ramp. I play the Pete, I boost, and the next turn I can already start drawing cards and use 7 ink for a Hades maybe. Yeah, and also he's a good singer for Let It Go or other songs in this deck. And this is the flex option I talked about. Let's give the English card up again. I have 1 English and 2 German cards. It's Moana. It's a 5-cost inkable character, 4 strength, 4 willpower, she quests for 2, and you can ink cards from your discard. Sometimes, and usually later in the game, she keeps your hand cards healthy, and that's what I like, because we don't have a natural draw engine like Woodchuck's Guidebook, we don't have Dumbo, we don't have Demona drawing a bunch of cards in a single turn. So Moana keeps our hand cards healthy. We can ink from our discard the cards we already can't use anymore, like actions and songs. But I usually don't ink the characters from my discard, because you never know. You never know when a Black Cauldron comes up and you need those characters from a discard. So, but Moana is a flex option. If you're facing a lot of green-blue decks with ward characters, you can easily switch Moana with Scuttle or with Meriwether. So you can more easily deal with all those warded characters. The relics, or they can interact with your character, they can ink him, they can deal damage, they can send it back to your hand. So Scuttle is a very good option here for your turn 5 or your 5 ink play instead of Moana. If you're facing a lot of green-blue control decks, Scuttle could help here a lot. And talking about songs and 5-cost plays, 3 copies of Let It Go. I might go up to 4 copies because Let It Go is such a good card still. It's an easy removal, spot removal for cards. They don't exert like tramps or stuff. You can play it. Usually the same turn they play the tramp, you can play Let It Go, so you take their singer for Under the Sea or whatever. And this is really, really huge. And yeah, it comes in handy in so many game situations. And you really need Let It Go. And that's why I'm thinking 4 copies might be the right direction. But I tested in all the games I played with only 3 copies of Let It Go. And still worked for me. Let's get those 5-cost cards out of the way. 6-cost slot. Spooky Sight, 2 copies to deal with aggro-ish or like lower to the ground decks. 6-cost uninkable action, and all the characters with cost 3 or less go straight to the player's inkwell. I had a game against blue-green where they ink Gazier me, and I laid 2 Tipos the following turn, ramping up to 4 or 5 again, and in the next turn I played Spooky Sight and went straight up to 8 ink with my Tipos, which brought me the option playing a Raging Storm 2 turns after Ink Geysir, and this is huge. And I really like it against all those dog decks and toy decks. They play so many low-cost characters where Spooky Sight can really shine. And then let's go. Our top-end cards. I already talked about it. Surfer Stitch, 7-cost inkable card, 4 strength, 8 willpower, so huge body. He quests for 2, but this is the original set 1 German card. And when you play this card and have 2 more characters in play, you draw 2 cards. Sometimes I hesitate playing Stitch Surfer and waiting for his ability to pop off. But in some games you just you can't stick 2 characters to your board, and you just play it on an empty board, because then you threaten with a 4/8 body, 2 lore, and your opponent has hard times to take this out. And also he's a great target for Ohanamin's family. Just run into a big body, heal him up, draw a bunch of cards, and go from there. So that's why I love Stitch Surfer. Like I said, another big card, 7-cost, uninkable Hades, 3 strength, 6 willpower, quest for 2, and you can put 1 card from your opposing board into its inkwell. Also spot removal, and later in the game I really love to retrieve it from the Black Cauldron and just threaten to play Hades over and over again, which can be really huge. And the last card in this deck, and the card that makes this deck so good because it's the reset button, it's Raging Storm. I play with 4 copies. I saw some lists playing with only 3, adding something different, but I really like to have 4 cards of Raging Storm, because this gives you the opportunity to see it multiple times in the games, and sometimes you just need to protect your locations. You need to wipe the board, because some decks, they can really go wide really fast, like yellow-purple, like dog decks, like the toy decks, and you just need to press the reset button, and that's why Raging Storm shines. It's an 8-cost uninkable action, and just banish all the cards. So you drop a location, or you drop 2 locations. Your opponent can't deal much damage. You wipe the board and do it over and over again. And that's how you control the board. That's how you win the games. Yeah, it's probably my last deck profile for set 12 Wilds Unknown. If you want to copy it, like I said in the beginning, you will find a link in the video description below. If you're new to the channel, I'm always happy about new viewers. We are close to 1,000 subscribers, so help me out there, guys. Help me out reaching that benchmark. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Flokki.